Welcome back, tribe. We have one here from New York Post, of course. It says, proof women are meant to have multiple lovers at the same time by a woman, of course. Let's see how they sell us on this BS. Guys that don't know about monogamy, have we been hoodwinked? Serious. As someone who's been single for a fair chunk of my 30s, here we go. The person that's trying to sell you multiple partners at the same time is a spinster that is 30 plus years old, that hasn't been able to get a man, that's been single, getting pumped and dumped on the streets. We got a street queen selling us on the street lifestyle because she's looking all around her. Most of her girlfriends already settled down, got married, have kids. She's left alone to prowl the streets, getting her guts rearranged and ghosted nonstop. Maybe that's a better way to live. I don't know. How else am I going to protect all the decisions I've made and run away from all the consequences thereof? I've got to witness many things in my friends' relationships, family relationships, and my relationships. Close friends who are kind, considerate people with good hearts, with good heads on their shoulders, have been caught up in affairs, or at the very least flirted with the idea. And we're not talking sleazy dudes having a midlife crisis, but everyday people. Nurses are the worst. Teachers are bad too. Plenty of office workers, low level, are some of the worst. And before I get a flood of angry messages from people saying affairs ruin family, let me state for the record, I know, I lived it, but that only firms my resolve more. When people are risking stable family lives for a connection, however brief, with someone else, it makes me wonder if we're genetically wired to stay with just one person. No, that's not what the issue is. Depravity, hedonism reigns supreme in society today. People can't even stop themselves from eating. 70% of people are obese. We have a problem with putting things in our mouth to satisfy hunger. You think people are mentally strong enough to satisfy the sexual hunger and keep it at bay? Are you kidding me? We're the weakest mentally we've ever been compared to previous generations. There's absolutely no mental fortitude in the world today. It's about now. I want pleasure now. I want dopamine hits now. I want somebody to give me attention now. And when they do, I'll act upon all these whims because I don't respect myself, because I have zero mental strength. So what happens when you get two mentally weak people to get together? Because the only reason they probably got together is to satisfy society's needs and to not feel alone and to risk a life of loneliness. That's really what it is. Oh, you just happen to be Mr. Right now. Oh, she's just good enough for now. Guess we'll get married. The alternative looks worse, being alone. So you have two people that aren't even a good match for each other. Dealing with trauma. Yes, these are most people that are getting married and cheating on one another. They're mentally weak. We've brought up believing that monogamy is the morally correct way to live, but are we designed for it? This sounds a little random, but stick with me. I was recently invited to go into a penguin enclosure at a local zoo. God, we're going to get compared to penguins, aren't we? And saw these hilariously cute creatures up close. We are about to get compared to penguins. The zookeeper was telling us facts about their mating habits, and it was pretty fascinating. A single woman will convince herself of anything. She went to the zoo once to see penguins, and now she's convinced that we should all be sleeping around. Tremendous. He revealed that while most penguin species are monogamous, one male breeds with one female during mating season, research has shown that some females may have up to 3 partners in one season. Floozies, she wrote in parentheses, and some males may have 1 or 2 partners. Mate selection is up to the female, and it is the females that compete for the males. Not so different to the current state of dating, if we're being honest. Yeah, the current state of dating in your life, not society, not the rest of the world, just in your own confines. Yes, even in the animal kingdom, monogamy isn't guaranteed. In fact, among mammals, wow, we're citing animals, dude, literally any. Oh, this is her. Is this her? Look, this is her right here. Let's just go to her picture and see. Is that her? Yes, this is her. Is it any surprise at who's writing this? Come on, man. Come on, man. Look. Take a good look at who's writing this. Monogamy. This is the woman selling us on multiple partners. Wow. Okay. 9% of species are monogamous, and among primates, just 29% are. And to further prove her point, biologist and evolutionary psychologist David P. Barash asks in his book Out of Eden, if monogamy doesn't come naturally to humans, why does society insist on it? He found that monogamy is losing ground to instincts with much deeper roots in human history. You see, we weren't always monogamous. No. The concept has only been around 1,000 years. Yeah. And in the 1,000 years that we have been monogamous, society, culture, human technological advancements have exploded, because when 2 people fully invest in their offspring, you get generations that surpass the previous ones at light speed. You know what happens to tribes that live that tribal way of the village raising the kid, of nobody knowing whose kid is who? They stay in sticks, huts, and mud. You have no incentive to raise that kid as if it's one of your own. You put in the bare minimum of effort. Culture never develops beyond the basic necessities. And the only way you teach people, because you have no interest in that kid, since it's the whole village's kid, is through very basic rituals and coming of age traditions that signify welcome to adulthood, welcome to being a man, welcome to being a woman. The very basics, that's it. Now, when you get two people together and their offspring matter, and their implication for survival and quality of life is how strong their offspring are, you tend to put everything and invest everything in them to have the best outcome possible for your family. Ta-da! You get the society that we've built today. While there's still other parts of the world sitting in their basic tribal culture, because the coming of age ritual is, let's kill a gazelle. Congratulations, you speared an animal to death. You're a man now. This is all you do from here until the end of your life. Great. Before that, primates were solitary, prefer to live in isolation, only coming together to mate. To be fair, I think many of us still live like primates, only coming out of our Netflix binge sessions to occasionally flirt and throw a leg over. Joking, kind of. See, when they write this stuff, they tell on themselves what their lives look like. She's a Netflix and chill pump and dump at her age, too. Sad, because this is a woman at her age. She looks like she's in her 40s. She was probably killer in her 20s, dude. This is not an ugly woman for her 40s or 50s, however old she is. But Father Time spares no man and no woman. And she lost her ability to close in on a guy that was high value. And that's probably what happened, because a blonde, blue-eyed, busty woman like her, she was probably tall. She had everything. She probably had a very high-value men hit her up when she was in her 20s. And she chose to pursue career. She chose to pursue other things besides family, having fun, spending time doing the whole Netflix and chill stuff. And now she winds up being alone, wanting a man, wanting a relationship, not being able to secure the man she really wants now at her age. Because no matter how beautiful she's managed to stay at her age, she can never compete with a 22-year-old. It is what it is, man. Why would any man, the man she's looking for, settle down with a woman her age when he can just have a version of her at 22? Think about it. That's the part that's hurting them the most, and that's why they write articles like this, trying to convince themselves of the eternal pump and dump that's happening. Like, no man wants to commit to a woman this old that she wants. That's the key word. There's plenty of men that'll commit to a woman like this, but the man she wants that she deems high value won't. So you got to write articles like this to soothe your ego, to avoid the accountability and the consequences of all your actions up until this point. It's pathetic. It takes away the pressure so many of us feel of being trapped in a relationship. With open communication from the very beginning, perhaps it could be the secret of taking that scary first step, and a heck load cheaper than a year's worth of therapy. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, if we know at least we have the option of throwing our net wider in the dating pool, we probably won't want to. I believe, see, she doesn't want to settle, bro, for anything less. I believe it will most likely lead to a closed relationship once we get comfy with the idea of partnership. Plus, it takes away the horrid, sneaky, guilt-inducing aspect of monogamy. Man, the streets took a toll on this one. I think it's normal to want to explore outside your relationship, but trust me, the grass is not greener, my friends. This also assures me that opening a relationship isn't necessarily a threat to our current relationship. Anyone who has been in a stable, long-term relationship will quickly realize what a cesspit the current dating scene is. You could have avoided all of this. Sure, many people who shacked up before dating apps may feel like they're missing out on a romping good time. But once they've been ghosted or catfished, they'll realize they've actually missed out on nothing. So here's the modern idea. Let them. I'm beginning to believe that an open relationship is key to a better relationship. No, this isn't how you cope with your decisions. You should have ended it with, I believe in finding your partner earlier in life so that you don't deal with getting ghosted or catfish like I'm dealing with now. So you don't deal with the cesspit of modern dating today. I had everything. I don't want to cast a wider net, she said. I just want to get into a relationship with a man that will take care of me, but I can't admit that. So I'm going to go with plan B, absolve myself of any accountability for my actions. So what's the next best thing? Perhaps we're not meant for relationships. Perhaps I did choose the correct path. Perhaps I was right all along. Dude, the delusion. What are comments saying? Prior to the late 80s, people were brought up to respect each other. After the late 80s, there was a slow cancer in society. The thought that they need to respect themselves. This has led to the extremities of ideologies. Now we have people who are gender fluid, fat people who are healthy, and influencers who don't live in reality. And with a disposable society that impulsively buys and tosses away things at a whim, that has creeped into all aspects of life, including relationships. To love and to honor or cherish, not really. Trying to normalize this piece of bull article. Just ask my parents, married 65 years. Yes, we know the duality of man, a spiritual animal. We were not biologically designed for monogamy. Rather, self-control rooted in spirituality and objective moral truth bridges the gap from hedonistic animal to spiritual being. Don't you love being compared with the lifestyles of penguins? And here I was thinking we have evolved. Humans are not penguins, so to compare the two to make our argument is a far stretch. There are plenty of other species that are monogamous. We're genetically wired to learn, and when love and respect and responsibility are not taught properly, our society gets left in a dust cloud of hate, anger, and ridiculousness in which we all suffocate. Sheesh. Humans are bad at multitasking. You're not meant to have multiple romances. You simply want them. The more romances you have, the less you're going to value whom you're with. Can't demand to treat people like toys, but still be a priority. If you don't want commitment, don't bother building trust. Plan to die alone from the start and free others from them being burdened by you. Oof, that's a good one to close it out on. Yet another crab in a bucket trying to pull the rest of the world down to her level. We'll see you guys on the next one.